welcome back to Sister Circle Live. Here at the Circle, we like to honor men and women who are doing phenomenal things in our community.
And our next guest is doing just that as an ESPN commentator, Tiffany Greene. We see you, girl.
Thank you very much.
Welcome to the Sister
Appreciate
Circle.
it. I wanted the music or the three-shot or something, so I could have danced.
You could have danced with us. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
I was ready for you.
Now, Tim, what does it mean to be a sports commentator?
Well, it means that hard work pays off.
Okay.
Because it was a journey from Florida A&M University and J School to a 15-year process to being able to call games, being able to sit behind the microphone and say what's happening on the field or on the court of play. So I kind of get to drive the conversation, and thankfully I have an analyst who can break down, tell you the how and what and why of what's going on.
Well, speaking of calling games, you made history this year. Tell us a little bit more about how you made history.
Okay.
Come on, sis.
So I had the opportunity to call a college football game on national television for ESPN, the first African-American woman to do so.
High five, man.
Appreciate that.
And why is this important, Tiffany?
Well, certainly because it has an impact for years to come, and hopefully young ladies will be able to look on the television screen and say, hey, I can do that too. When I was coming up, I didn't have that necessarily, but I had wonderful people like Jane Kennedy and Robin Roberts, who I saw do it in other aspects or areas, but no woman that I had seen call a college football game. And so for me, it was a way to break barriers, but also to say thank you and pay homage and respect for paving the way so I could get there.
So it's from my understanding that you've always known this is what you wanted to do since you was 5 years old.
Absolutely,
right?
wrote it down.
So why sports from this point of view?
I think my parents didn't let me go to college and play sports, even though I got a bowling scholarship to FAMU.
Girl, you
of
was
all
a
things, come on now, I was with it. I played basketball. My parents wanted me to focus on my studies and just kind of take in the whole college experience. So I said, well, I wasn't going to be able to play it. Why not talk about it? And it's something that I'm so passionate about. I love it to life. It's all that I've ever wanted to do, all that I've ever known to do. So I was a little girl who used to put like fruit roll-ups in my mouth and, you know, baseball bat. I was a tomboy growing up, but not only would I be playing the game, but I'd also be commentating it along with Harry Carey or Bob Costas, whoever was on.
Now, you have an amazing bond with your dad. He's a huge influencer and probably your biggest cheerleader. Tell us about the bond between you and your father.
It's yourboy.com. That's what we say, because that is my homie. He was the first African-American to be a television reporter in Tampa, and so he helped to pave the way for me. And so he used to always remind me of a couple of things coming up, and he still does to this day, which are you're only as good as your last story, and whatever you do, it's never enough. You've got to do more because people are always watching, and they don't remember what you did perhaps yesterday or 2 days ago. So what you do today, you better put your best foot forward.
No matter how good it was.
That's right, no matter how good it was.
Now, you started off local.
Yeah.
But isn't it ironic that you moved into ESPN and you're a sports person?
Yeah, so
how did this happen?
I did that as a production assistant coming up, starting out of school in Tampa. Got my first on-air gig in Savannah, Georgia. Was a one-man band, and then after hard work paid off, about 8 years in Orlando and Tampa with the Regional Sports Network, I started to do some freelancing with ESPN and Fox Sports 1, and then I got my full-time gig.
Now, do you think being an athlete helped you do that or helped you land that job, or?
Certainly the knowledge of sports, I think, has helped it in that regard. I have an appreciation for what they do, hard work, discipline, teamwork, all that good stuff. I mean, I think those carry over into life as a whole, so it's been really helpful.
So I was really excited about asking you this question because your life has changed a lot recently. You have a baby and you got married, so there's hope, girl. There's still hope. Because I was just thinking, with you being in such a male-dominated industry, like how do you compete and do all this, take your baby on the road? Like, how do you do that?
Just be myself and have a wonderful support group and village, like you guys were talking about earlier in the show. So my parents are there to either take care of him while he's home. My sister came on the road with me this weekend. I was in Kansas City for the volleyball championships, came right here immediately. So it takes just everyone coming in. And so for the fellas, you know, when you say, I need to step aside and use some facilities.
Right.
Because I'm still a nursing mom.
Right.
So those football games are long.
Uh-huh.
So I got to step aside, whether it's after a coach's meeting or at halftime of a game. Just kind of figure out, make a way.
So
and usually they back up though. You know, they don't bother me too much.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
So you're nursing.
Yes.
So are you feeling pressure? Is there any kind of like prejudices, and when you're out there and they're like, oh girl, you got a nurse? Do you feel that in kind of?
No, I don't, because I try not to make a big deal out of it, right? So I'll just say, you know, I need to step aside, or I need to take care of myself. And most guys that I'm working with,
Get it.
they have kids too.
Yeah.
You know, so
And their wives are probably
their
nursing.
wives have
Yeah.
nursed, and so they've gone through that process a little bit.
Down to the circle, we want to know, what was your most defining moment in your career? I know, hard question, right?
I know, we just might as well just sit here.
Go ahead, girl. Which one was it?
All right. If you want to on it.
So I think being able to call college basketball, women's college basketball for Fox Sports 1, because it was in their inaugural season. They were just starting up. They had given me the package, and this was my first foray onto the national scene. Mm-hmm. And somebody finally took a chance on me. I went to the National Association of Black Journalists Conference. Mm-hmm. I had showed my information to a lot of different people, and they said, hey, I want you. So they put their trust in me.
Yeah.
And being able to call that season, I just got to do it as a collective, was huge for me, because that's really what I think helped ESPN take a closer look at me as a commentator, not just like a sideline reporter.
Somebody. God opened the door and
Absolutely.
you walked through it. Somebody, okay?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I call on them all the time.
Listen, we thank you so much for coming to the circle. We want you to know that we see you.